Start recording. And we're good to go.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order Borough Council regular meeting, January 20, 2021. Begin with a roll call.
President Wireman,
Here.
Vice President Cresser,
Here.
Councilmember Delizio,
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson is absent. Councilmember Stevens,
Here.
Mayor Kaler is absent, and Manager DeFinis.
Here.
Thank you. We'll begin with Pledge of Allegiance. If we could rise and then remain standing for our invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Stevens will provide our invocation.
Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for blessing us with another day in your creation. For we know that every breath is a gift from you. As we begin a new year, we ask that you bless our nation and guide all those in leadership over this great country. And now, Lord God, as we work on behalf of our community, we ask for your guidance and wisdom in all that we do. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you.
Somebody going to
Okay. This evening's agenda was in our binders, and then there was updated one emailed recently, last 3 hours. Have a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor
Chairman.
Delizio, second by Councilor Cresser.
Mr.
Do you
Chairman,
have any additions or changes to this evening's agenda?
sorry, I had emailed you about this, but I was hoping that we could consider as an action item a settlement of the Juwarby code violation case.
So be EFG.
Yeah, the 308 West Broad Street.
Right, thank you, Mike.
You want to call it a consideration of a settlement agreement?
Yes,
John, if you would like me to, I can update what was done in the packet, or do you want me to read it off of what Jamie had provided?
We have it under old business G also, right?
Okay.
For discussion then?
Yes.
Or are you talking about the wording for the motion itself?
No, I didn't have a wording for the motion. There was a couple things that were added to the agenda.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry. I thought
packet.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
please, go ahead.
Under F, under the item F, there was also added the letter of understanding and the wage schedule for the union contract, for the Teamsters union contract for review. And under G was this, Kate was going to offer present the settlement offer and possibly add it as an action item. Under H was added transfer of funds resolution, resolution 2021-02. And under item I was added the SEPTA agreement that I was surprised that they sent it directly to Kate and bypassed me, but Kate reviewed it and we talked about it, and that's also added on for as an action item. And then there's an updated bill list that was added as well, as some bills had come in since the packet was sent out last Friday. So that's what was added to the agenda. Did I catch it all, Jamie?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Anyone have objections to adding these items? Sal, you okay with the motion containing these additions?
Yes.
John?
I am
good?
also. Yes.
Thank
Fine.
you. Okay, any other questions on this? Not all those in favor of the revised motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's approved. Thank you. We had minutes from our December meetings, the workshop meeting of December 2nd and the regular meeting of December 16th, 2020 for approval this evening.
Make
And
a
that
motion.
also contained the hearing
Yeah.
minutes or hearing
Transcript.
from the stenographer.
Right, transcript.
Okay. Transcript, thank you. I was searching. Okay, so John, you made that motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for the approval of the minutes, yes, of December
Second.
2nd and 16th.
Motion made by Councilor Cresser, second by Councilor Delicio. Have any corrections, changes that were noted there? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's been approved. Third item, tonight's agenda is public input. Anyone wishing to address council, please state your name and address. Any hands, Jamie?
At this time, I do not see any hands being raised using the Zoom function.
Going once. Continue with item 4 on the agenda, be our announcements. Mr. DeFinis.
Sorry about that. The zoning hearing board is scheduled to meet January 21st at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Registration is required. The Hatfield Museum and Historical Society is scheduled to meet Tuesday, January 26th via their Facebook Live posting. The Hatfield Economic Revitalization Committee, HERC, is scheduled to meet Wednesday, January 27th at 8 a.m. via Zoom. Registration is required. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for February 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. Some of that will take place in person as the applicants have asked to come in person with their consultants, and it will also be streamed via Zoom. Registration is required for that as well. The next Borough Council meeting are scheduled for both council meetings are scheduled for February 3rd, the workshop, and the regular meeting at February 17th, both at 7:30 via Zoom. Registration required. One of the things I did not have on here was there is also a zoning hearing in the township, and the borough was notified of that. I sent out an email a little bit earlier in the week to council members. There's a development, a 2-house development that's coming up. And the reason that the borough was informed of it is it's within 400 feet of the borough line. The only thing that would happen there that would have any impact on the borough could be stormwater, and that will all be addressed during the land development process of the, if they've received their variances to move forward on that project. That's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anyone else want to highlight any upcoming events or dates? Okay, thanks. Old business category. First is the Zoom policy that we've reviewed, and a couple changes were made. You see there before you. It's also on as an action item. Anyone have additional comments on this? It's modeled after some municipalities, and we crafted it for a couple changes that we wanted. Extended that time frame a little bit on item 6, section 6. Good to go on that one?
Yep.
Thank you. Item B, Lincoln Avenue Bridge Replacement Bid Advertisement. Also,
Bless you.
Sorry.
also be listed for action this evening. Shows the dates there that we're targeting. Bid opening on February 12. Or I'm sorry, questions by February 12.
The opening is on the 25th.
Right, thank you. No questions there. Item C, Nextera had a date the first week of February for a virtual meeting that they now changed to February 11th. And there'll be some additional information shared. Register to join that. Anyone that wants to be on. It's in place of their in-person gathering this year. And then another public power related rally that was in the month of February is also being changed to a virtual.
Yeah, and it's actually the 1st and 2nd of March this year.
Okay. Yep, thank you. Good. So anyone, Jamie can assist getting you registered for that if you need it, if you want to participate. Okay. Item E, we have received the Hatfield Volunteer Fire Company annual report, which actually goes back to December 2019, similar to what the borough did last month.
And it's here in the borough office, John, if anybody wants to review it. I have a copy here in the borough office.
Very good. Item F, under old business, the Teamster contract that was negotiated for review, and then in addition, the letter of understanding that Mike commented on that has been added and sent to the union for clarification of a couple items. So I think we had some highlights on here of what the changes were. Primarily, as we all know, the term goes out to 6 years. Right here, Article 22. I'm gonna go back one page where you were there. I'm sorry, that's retirement plan. Yeah, I've actually got the printed copy here.
I believe the changes start on page 15 was the first change. There
Okay.
you go. With the public works start time.
Now be at the determination of the Public Works Director as to scheduling time. We had Article 22 you're just looking at there. And then Article 23, Health and Welfare had a increase.
That's to the accidental death and dismemberment clause section insurance for the
Of that category.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Yep, increasing it to 30,000. And then Article 27 and the wages.
Actually, Article 25, John, effective December 31st, 2023. The defined benefit plan, pension plan shall be frozen.
Thank you. I had reading my hard copy here, and I had a no behind it from what we talked about originally. I'm about 2 drafts back, I think. So yeah, this was a very favorable negotiation for the borough to be able to freeze the defined benefit plan, and then we made the change to the defined contribution plan to increase that. But the letter also addresses this clause that we'll look at in a minute. So there's the other change effective January of 2024. There was a 1% increase from 3 to 4% on the contribution by the borough. Okay. And then here is the wage schedule for the 6 years, which now includes a tier 3 for new hires. That was, again, in the letter. Anyone have any specific questions on anything they may have read there? So I'll let Mr. DeFinis address the letter that was sent.
So rather than going back and redefining some sections of the agreement, the vice president of the Teamsters Local 830 and I agreed that we would both sign a letter of understanding referencing Article 25 on page 24, that it shall be understood that once all employees eligible for the defined benefit shall receive the value of their individual benefit as of December 31st, 2023, and at the time of their normal retirement upon full separation of employment from the Borough of Hatfield. Hatfield makes no commitment regarding new employees or for Hatfield Borough defined benefit pension plan retirement benefits to be earned after December 31st, 2023. So what normally happens is the last 3 years of your employment is averaged out to find the average earning. There's a multiplier, there's a times the years of service, and at 2% is the value of that pension. And then some pensioners take a survivor's benefit, so that would have to be determined as well. But I wanted to make sure that they were aware that the value of the plan will be frozen at 20 in 2023. So the average would be over the year 21, 22, and 23 of their whatever their W-2 indicates their earnings were for those years would be the 3 calculation years. So and Kate helped with the language for that section. And then under Article 28, the schedule of wages, we wanted to clarify, make sure that, it's part of the agreement, the one employee who was in the old Tier 3 came up to Tier 2, and we created the schedule for Tier 3 to clarify the starting amount for new hires January 1st, 2021, and going forward. And Mr. Fulcher, the vice president of the Teamsters Local, preferred this method than going back and rewriting the contract. And he also has already signed a draft of this.
Terrific.
I did review it, and I know that Mike and the union all understood what was meant by the contract. It talked in terms of benefits being frozen. But I thought that we should clarify it in case everybody who knows what they meant is retired or gone by then. So that's why the letter of understanding will help somebody who just walks in and doesn't know any better what was meant.
Excellent. Good work. Thank you. And it's on for acceptance approval this evening. Any other questions from council?
I do not.
None.
Okay, thank
None.
you. Okay, then we'll move on. Next whole business item G is our 308 West Broad Street zoning hearing board updates.
Right, thanks. Let me handle this, I guess.
Please.
We brought a code violation notice against the Jawarbis who live at, what is that, 308 West Broad?
Yes.
And the reason was, first, they installed a swimming pool. If you look at what's on your screen now, the swimming pool in the back right-hand corner of the property is where the swimming pool was installed without pool permits and too close to the rear and side yards according to the zoning ordinance. So they got cited for installing a pool without a permit. Then when they applied for a permit, they got cited for the fact that the pool's location does not comply with zoning. They hired an attorney. They took an appeal of the zoning violation notice and also in the alternative, a variance to allow the pool to remain where it was. In the meantime, they had been complaining about a stormwater management pipe that runs through their property that is not clearly owned by the borough and may in fact have been installed by PennDOT. In any event, the borough had agreed to do some work on the stormwater pipe, to make things work better for the Jawarbis and the neighborhood. And I think that's planned, Mike, you can correct me, I think that's planned for next year.
Yeah, that's part of the grant that we received from the state with the help of Senator Collette and Representative Malagari to repair some stormwater on West Broad Street. That pipe connects to that stormwater on West Broad Street. And the pipe actually daylighted in their backyard. So we're going to extend it through their backyard to the fence line and then have it daylight in the stream back there.
So the attorney, Mike Malloy, and I negotiated an agreement which basically provides that the pool, where it is now, the pool in the wrong location will be taken down by Memorial Day. Okay? If they want to reinstall it, they got to put it where it's shown on Chad's plan, the plan that's on your screen right now, that shows an appropriate place for the pool that doesn't need zoning relief and doesn't get in the way of that stormwater pipe. So they would agree that they will take the pool down by Memorial Day, that they will allow the borough to do work in their yard on that stormwater pipe, which actually is what they want anyway. So it's not a hard thing for them to agree to. And that will resolve the code violation. We won't be fining them or otherwise causing a problem. The idea is that they will sign off on this. Both attorneys have agreed that the Jawarbis will sign off on this before tomorrow night. And so I'm asking Borough Council for an action item tonight to approve this so that tomorrow night at the zoning hearing board, which is a Zoom meeting, I can represent the zoning board. The Borough Council is agreeable to this. I would tell you, however, that when the time comes to make a motion to approve it, if that's what you want to do, the motion should be contingent on the property owners agreeing first. That way, if they don't agree, we can continue forward on the code violation and probably get an order making them take the pool down. This would be one way to resolve it, where everybody's, if not happy, at least copacetic, and gets the pool out of the required rear and side yards. It would impinge a little on their driveway, which they're not happy about, but it wouldn't violate the zoning ordinance if they put it there. And they do have an apron on the driveway, which they added. So Chad did a lot of work. We had the property surveyed, which was helpful to the stormwater project and also to this issue, because we kept asking the homeowners for a survey and they didn't have one and they weren't going to get one. So there you have it. Are there any questions?
So all neighbors are happy?
Well, let's put it this way. The closest neighbor, ironically, is a council member. He lives behind the pool and it's a rear yard violation. And he had approved the plan. Chad and I sent it to him and he approved it. I wish he was here tonight, but I do think he would be satisfied with this. He was okay with me offering this as a solution.
Is there an agreement and an easement to be recorded for us to go onto the property, or is the agreement suffice for that?
It's part of the agreement itself. I didn't know whether we wanted to take ownership of that pipe because we never had admitted or agreed before that the borough owned it. I mean, pipe was obviously installed years and years and years ago before people bothered to document these things. It could have been installed by us, or it could have been installed by PennDOT because Broad Street is a state road. But since state money is going to help us fix it, I think it works out. That would be in the agreement, which I did circulate, but I don't see on the screen. So I guess Jamie doesn't have that. But I mean, I think you're seeing the basic part of the agreement. It's in the agreement.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do not.
I don't.
No. Okay, thank you. Again, it's on action later. Item H is resolution 2021-02. Transfer some funds from savings into the general account. I think the resolution here we have was for the amount of 70,000. Again, I'm sure some of you, if not all, are familiar with what would be known as a tax anticipation note. There's many municipalities at this time of year that until they receive their tax monies, real estate tax monies, other revenue sources in the springtime, April, May, that they borrow funds as a bridge to get to that point. We have the ability, rather than borrowing, to tap the savings account to temporarily cover what's just a bit of a shortfall because of some bills that occur in the early part of the year that are expensive. So that's the reason that staff has requested to draw down the 70,000.
Is this, John, is that like normal, or is it because of the conditions of the economy?
It is normal, John, because as I said, the revenues aren't flowing in January or February at this point. And we had, the utility work is one large bill. As you know, the police contract increase, this month's payment will be higher. So, yeah, it's just an accumulation of our regular bills and a couple extras.
And since you said it was a savings account, what do we do? Traditionally reimburse that account so we can, if we have this problem again, we do the same thing if necessary each year? Is that what goes on?
Yes, typically, when the coffers fill up and we have excess cash, we can move that back in from checking into the savings.
It's a no-brainer then.
Yep.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
Excellent.
No, it's really, it's common
With that,
sense.
we'll go right into item I, the SEPTA lease, which is also a brief discussion. Not very costly at $1 for 6 months.
Good.
Yeah, and this is something that in the discussions with Dave Doller, I asked him if we could actually show the building to some people, because there's some interest. He says, well, why don't we make you, rather than create a whole lease to do that, why don't we make you get a license agreement? So that's what this license agreement is, that the borough's going to have possession, be the licensee of that property for 6 months, and for $1 we can show the property. We're going to use it, for storage if we can, if we need to, and then we can let some people take a look at the building and hopefully get a good tenant in that building.
Right, I've reviewed this. It's much easier with SEPTA to get a license agreement, which is basically a permission to open the door and walk inside and use the parking lots and things like that, than it is to get a full lease. So since we don't even actually have a tenant yet, they were more than happy to facilitate us helping them find a tenant by giving us a license agreement to use the building and show it off. So.
Good work. It's after the fact here, but no objections. If we can change the wording on the item I, and then also under the motion to license agreement from lease agreement. Just to clarify that.
Certainly is more accurate to call it a license agreement.
Yeah, that's how it's titled. So. Okay.
John, can I ask a question?
Absolutely so.
Yeah. If under this agreement, if something happens to the building, inside or outside, who pays for the repair?
The borough.
Okay. So we're responsible for the repair of it then?
Once we agree to it, yes, we are.
Normal
We'll have to
wear-
add it to our insurance carrier Divot.
Right, normal wear and tear is accepted, but I did recommend that Mike contact Divot and let them know. And by the way, the agreement provides that, if somebody trips and falls in the building, we have to handle that. If somebody's walking on the railroad tracks and falls, they handle that. That line is, I don't know, not used for passengers anyway. Is that part of the freight line, Mike? Is it still used for freight?
It is.
And SEPTA's not holding us responsible for that. And they're not holding us responsible for normal wear and tear, because it's an old building that does need a little work. But we do have to take responsibility for holding SEPTA harmless if on our watch, if you will, somebody gets hurt. Or if the building gets hurt, other than normal wear and tear.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? Not, we had no new business items listed for this evening. So we can move right into our action items.
Council President, I just want to remind you, and I'm sure Jamie's always, I want to remind you that under the Sunshine Law, if anybody wants to comment before you vote, they can do it, and they can raise their hand and indicate to her that they want to comment. So just want to make that reminder to the people who are on the Zoom call. Jamie should be able to see if anybody's got a hand raised.
Okay.
Raises their hand, I will let you know, President Wyman.
Wouldn't that typically be handled under public input ahead of time, though?
Well, the Sunshine Law says that you should take public comment before any vote. But the public input section is generally for people who want to make some kind of a statement or raise an issue, and not necessarily an agenda item. But when you get ready to vote, you should ask if there's public comment. And since it's impossible to see anybody, Jamie can look for that and let you know if somebody's got their hand raised.
Yes, I was just thinking of past practice because there's never anyone in attendance at the meetings that we've not done that.
Right.
Right, and that's why I thought I better remind you, because
Thank you.
it's a little bit different format.
Okay. All right. So action item A, motion for approval of adopting the 2021 Borough of Hatfield Zoom policy.
I'll make that motion, John.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Cresser, second by Counselor Delicio. Any questions? And when we say, I know we're adopting it in 2021, so that's, can you put your hands back on it? How's it titled? Do you have a hard copy? Never mind, let me find it. My question is, since we're calling it 2021, are we going to have to do this every year?
Good question.
No, it doesn't say that on the policy itself. Okay, so
No.
we're good. We're good. All righty. Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's approved. Motion for approval of advertising the Lincoln Avenue Bridge Replacement Project bid specifications.
So moved.
So moved.
Larry.
Any hands waved?
I have a
Larry's
motion by
okay.
Counselor Stevens. Sal, you okay on a second?
Yes. Mhm.
Second by Counselor Delicio. Any questions?
Jamie, were there any hands waved on it? On each action item, you got to do that, right?
Well, that's, yeah, I'm just saying any questions. I think that's a
Yeah.
catch-all.
Right.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? That's approved. Motion for approval of resolution 2021-01, approving a collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Local Union number 830.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Larry, you're trying to catch me.
Motion by Counselor Cresser, second by Counselor Delicio. We'll sneak it in there. So this is for the contract agreement itself. Then we have the next item. So any questions on this resolution?
I do
Hearing
not.
none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's been approved. Again, thank you for all the work on this. And then we have the motion for approval of the letter of understanding with the Teamsters Local Union number 830.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Stevens, second by Counselor Cresser. Any questions on this one? Glad to clarify everything as much as you can up front. That's good. All those in favor of this motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? It's been approved. Motion for approval of our resolution 2021-02, authorizing the transfer of funds in the amount of $70,000 from Harleysville Bank to the general fund, Borough's general fund account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Stevens, second by Counselor Delicio. Any other questions on this one? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That's been approved. Item F is motion for approval of the license agreement with SEPTA for the
So moved.
railroad station.
Second that.
Motion by Counselor Delicio, second by Counselor Stevens. Any questions? Give us some more time. Hopefully, we might be successful in getting somebody in there in 6 months. Hearing no questions, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion's approved. Item G was added for motion for approval of the settlement agreement on property 308 West Broad Street, contingent upon the property owner's signing of this agreement.
So
I'll
moved.
make that motion.
That was Larry, right?
Yes.
Second.
Larry, second by Counselor Cresser.
It's going pretty good.
Any other
so-
questions on this one? Kate, we're good with that?
Yes, we're good. I will present that to the zoning board. They don't have to accept it, but I would expect that they would.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? It's approved. Thank you very much. Okay, item 8, we had a revised bill list.
Let's see.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Cresser, second by Counselor Delicio for payment of the bills. Questions on the revised list?
Is there a Kaler on there?
Huh?
Is there a Kaler on there?
No.
No one?
What?
Yeah, we had answered
Yeah,
the question from
she
earlier
has it
too,
on
John.
the-
You have this additional 49,000 from AMP regarding the AMI meters. There's a one-time there.
John, there was also a $67,000 work that we had done down by the Lincoln Avenue Bridge for electric work.
Yes.
That was another large ticket item. There's some, I know there's some escrow money in here that's, we have to recoup from the Edinburgh Square.
Okay. Yep. Just about $6,000 there.
Yeah.
Are you okay with the addition on the interest payment?
Yeah, the interest payment, I discussed that with them today, and that, we're actually gonna cut that out of the ESSA account that we have, John.
Right. Okay.
Coming out of the general fund.
Good.
But that should be the final payment,
Oh, okay.
all right?
Yes.
That's what I was told today.
Okay. All right. No questions on anything on the list? Had the motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Very good. Motion's approved. Get some more checks out. And we have an executive session tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Very good.
John, before we adjourn, I have a question.
Oh.
All right. Last meeting, we talked about the agreement with Verizon. Usage in the borough and all that. At
Yes,
one time, we used to have an agreement with someone else concerning the usage of our poles in the borough. Was that Comcast or it escapes my mind?
you
But
might
we had an
be,
agreement and we were paying for them to use our poles.
yes, you might be talking
Yes.
about the company that put some attachments up there that we learned about and had to then go back to them. Mike can give you a little more detail than I.
We have a couple pole attachment agreements. One with Sunesis, and I think they're owned by Crown Castle now. And then we also had, when we redid the license agreement with the franchise agreement with Comcast, they paid us up front for the whole, all the pole attachments all at one time. So we do have a pole attachment agreement with Comcast. The reason we do not have a pole attachment agreement with Verizon is they have twice as many poles in the borough than we do. And we use their poles as well as them use our poles. We have to end up paying them.
All right.
So we let them use our poles and they let us use their poles. Comcast doesn't have any poles and neither did Sunesis have any poles in the borough.
So they pass.
That's why we don't have a pole attachment agreement with Verizon.
So we get paid a fee from Comcast and the other.
Yes, we get paid a fee from Comcast. We got it as one lump sum in the beginning of the contract. And Sunesis, which is now Crown Castle, we collect that annually. I believe it's in March, but I can go back with Diane and check that. And it's a nominal fee for those
Yeah.
poles. I think they have 11 poles or something.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Comcast, I think, was 150 poles they're attached to.
In addition to the polls, though, we do have what we addressed, Sal, that came from the Cohen Law Group was the franchise agreement that we do receive revenue for people, for residents of the borough that use Verizon and Comcast. We have separate franchise agreement collections.
Okay.
So that money still is in the budget, yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm fine with it, John.
thank you. Okay, we're done then.